Well, hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, everybody's doing great. So, today we are super happy. We're going to be learning the difference between life coaching, business coaching, learning a lot more about Kara and what she has done. So, I'm really happy and eager to hear today's topic. So, Kara, please take it away.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I'm really excited to share this. I'm particularly excited because I'm still coming down from the high of doing a 10-hour corporate training on coaching as a leader yesterday. So this kind of just follows that same juice, right? And I love it. So I wanted to start just straightforward with what exactly is coaching because it gets confusing. People are like a sports coach. I'm like, well, yes, but no. And they're like, okay, like a dance coach. I'm like 100% and not at all. And that's kind of unhelpful. So, what is a coach? A coach works to support you in building healthy habits, developing and practicing your skills, and mastering your mindset. So, yeah, just like a soccer coach or a dance coach or a screen coach, any coach you could think of is going to help you with those basic things. The coach is focused on you and your results. How you get there has to be up to you, though. The coach is going to push you when you feel like stopping. Your coach is going to believe in you when your beliefs falter. And they're going to be there to celebrate your successes as well as those lessons learned. Oh, hi, Madarina. So that you can absolutely achieve what you want to accomplish. That's pretty much how it is, whether it is learning a new dance step, manifesting new things into your reality, figuring out alignment so that when life's all over you, you can still know what you're supposed to do. That's kind of my bag. Absolutely. Another way to think about what coaching is to understand what it's not. So, a coach is not a mentor, it's not a trainer, it's not a consultant. They may use some of those things, but that's not what they are. A mentor really is there to share their experiences so that you can learn from them. You know, I walked this road, I made these mistakes. Here are all of the things that I can share with you. Trainers, they have a really specific process that they're going to take you through for your development, usually on a specific topic. Coaches, again, less attached to process, more attached to results. And a consultant's going to provide answers. Like that's why you bring them in. You're like, I need a consultant to come talk to me about SEOs because I don't know jack about it. And they're going to come to be like this and this and this, and you need to do this and this. And a coach doesn't tell you. They're like, cool. Well, what do you know about SEOs? Why do you think this is important? Coaches is going to ask you questions and may then connect you to a consultant. Yeah. And then I would like to kind of tie it up with business versus executive versus life, because that's where it kind of gets into a real gray area, right? And since we have a life coach and executive coach, it makes sense to kind of set that definition. I'd even say that the boys here would fall close into that business coach, right? So a business coach is going to help you really hone in, not phone in, but hone in on what your business needs. What are the analytics? What are the tracking things that you need to do? What is the marketing that you've got to understand? What is the content that you need to post? What is the copy you need to do? All of those things is where a business coach is going to lean in. A life coach is going to help you figure out those metrics for your life. Where do you need to have more spirituality? Where do you need to spend more time on your relationships? Where do you need to spend time on yourself? Because those are really important. An executive coach bridges the gap between the two. A great way I can describe that is as an executive coach, and so far, every executive coach I have run into will jump on this soapbox as fast as I do. And that's the work life balance. So, business coaches help you work on that work life balance. Life coaches help you work on that work life balances. And the executive coaches goes, you dumb dumbs, you can't balance that. It's just your life. Work is a part of it. It's never going to balance out. How can we make it one thing? How can you have it all? And it may be that we say, actually, you're great on your business, but you need to go talk to a life coach. Or actually, it sounds like you got your life pretty in order, but you're gonna need some more business coaching, or a little bit of both. Okay, I want to bring that up to the group here. So, what are your thoughts? What are your questions immediately on all of that? I just dumped a bunch of info on you.
Well, I would say that I love the way that you break it down. In another way, just because of personal experience, a coach actually, by questions, helps you understand yourself and your own processes.
Yeah.
So I think that is the most powerful way that a coach helps you, because it lets you have enough time to digest what you already inside already know, but don't know how to actually put it out in words.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Bruno,
No,
Irina.
for me, it's the way I distinguish again, Kara. You have to fill me in on executive coaching because I really never dealt with any executive coaches. So for me, the way I distinguish is life coach is somebody who works with the mindset. Business coach is somebody who works on your skill set. In other words, you could be an excellent, we all entrepreneurs, right? You could be an excellent expert, but if you don't know how to sell your services, you don't know well much about the marketing and the strategies and the system how to sell. That's where the business coach comes to place, because that should be an expert who can take you through the process in order to achieve the results that you want. So this is the way I have that distinguished point. And obviously the action step, it's for anybody, right? Whether you work with a life coach or an executive coach or a business coach, without the action steps, nothing is going to happen.
Facts.
So that's the formula for success.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So what I heard there too is, and I'm filtering it into my brain process. Can you see me processing in real time here? So businesses really help you work on the skills of business, and
Mhm.
life coaches really help you work on the mindset of life. I like that because as an executive coach, I help you build the skills that you need to have the mindsets and the tools to bridge the gaps.
Okay.
Yeah. Bruno, what do you think?
I think like because you were speaking about trainers and coaches and consultants and whatever, right? And I think like each in one of those, like they focus on different things. They all use the same techniques, but they prioritize certain ones because it goes more into that. And I think for me, like the coaching is all about like asking the right questions, right? Because like you're not gonna do the work for them, and you're clearly not even gonna take them there. You're just gonna help them uncover like certain things they're not being able to connect.
Yeah.
Like they know because I think like and that's the thing like I think I kind of reached this conclusion like I think it was like a day or I think it was yesterday or like before yesterday, which is basically this there's a big void created when people can't answer their big questions out of their life,
Yeah.
and that doesn't even start when you're an adult. That starts when like you're a kid, right? For me it started when I was in 8th grade. So like it's like one of those things where like you don't know how to ask the right questions to yourself because you don't even kind of know where to start. There's so many things, like there's so many places to start asking that you can even make a decision, right? And that's why coaches are there as well, right? To ask you the right questions, like to be like, okay, so here's how we're gonna do, right? Okay, so don't overthink, right? We have this plan right here. Okay, let's first start with this. Let's ask this first, right? So okay, you got this now. So why do you think about this and when and what and who and whenever and whatever, right? And I think from there on, right, you kind of go on this growth, you know.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
That ties right into what Johnny said, right? So right before we go to commercial, I'll tie up real quick. It really is. We don't know what we don't know, but the odds are you know a lot more than what you think that you know. I mean, you're the only one who has been doing you and your business and your life as long as you've been around to do it. But how often do we take time to stop and ask ourselves those questions so we can figure out, is this something I don't know? Or is this something I just need a time to ask myself? Yeah, I love that. Send us away, Johnny.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready to meet the most important person in your life? Are you ready to have the date with yourself? How about learning what you're all about and what are your heart desires? For that, I invite you for my interactive workshop, Meet and Greet Your True Self, where you tap into your potential and understand what exactly you would like to create in your life.
Do you want to learn how to dance salsa and bachata? Well, now's your chance. We have 2 locations in Lake Worth and Commercial Boulevard in Florida. The first class is complimentary. All you have to do is sign up now.
The bachata music always gets me. I love that. Okay, so as we go into the next section, actually, I'm going to totally jack pieces of your guys' commercial because I think that ties in what we just said, right? So a coach helps you meet the most important person in your life. You, like Irina said. But also, as an executive coach, it's not just about reading the most important person in your life, but having profitable results, like Bruno said. Right? Like that's really where the difference comes in. We're not just looking for you to have more joy and more happiness. There needs to be a profitable result at the end of it. And that's why it's just a little different than it's all exactly the same, but completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to tell you a little about the CARA method and what it is exactly, specifically, more along the hows of what I do. Typically, we talk a lot about the what's and the whys, and because all of that is really important. And the how is mostly boring until you've actually decided that's what you want to do. But I like to give away some tools. So that's what I was going to use for this one. So the CARA method is really a very simple 4-step process. It is clarify, assess, realign, and achieve. I deliver this predominantly in 15-minute clarity sessions. I teach this in the new normal leadership training. And then I also do one-on-one executive coaching, which does a lot of trainings, like the 10-hour one that I did yesterday. Now, this came about from a place of trauma, and we don't really have lots and lots of time to dive into that story at this point. I'm sure it'll come up at another time. But all of us go through trauma and drama. You don't get out of this life without trauma, drama, and ultimately death. Not to take it too dark, but that's the facts, right? Yeah. And so through my trauma, I was gifted a space in leadership and was really allowed to look at the human side of people and how that really applied to business, the wellness of the individual and how it impacts the whole organization, which is what led me into leadership development. I discovered that the tools, the skills, the mindsets that we were talking about earlier that come with leadership are particularly designed to help a human navigate the new emotional, physical, and mental stress of no longer just being responsible for yourself, but actually being responsible for wholly bunches of people. And while my path started in a place of trauma, absolutely, when I started to really learn this experience is when I had a kid. They say that the teacher shows up when the student is ready. I didn't know I was that ready, but I guess the universe thought I was.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I know 3 out of the 4 of us have kids. So leaning on that, we'll go with Irina first. What in your own personal leadership did you learn from having tiny humans that you were suddenly responsible for?
Oh my God. First of all, sleepless nights. it was like, you're not on your own schedule anymore. It's like there is a human being who is gonna actually pull your strings because you are responsible for another life.
Yeah.
That was the most important thing. And obviously the responsibility that comes with that, right? The things are not anymore like you like it or not. You're like, you just bite yourself and just do it, right? The commitment, the commitment, the responsibility, and knowing that like you have another human that you're responsible for.
Yeah. Johnny, what do you think?
There's so many things. But for me, I mean, is the whole idea that I'm creating, besides the feeding, besides of keeping them alive, that I have to create somebody who's good for the world. That whenever I pass beyond to the dark side, um, that she will keep being here. And I say she because I have a daughter, helping other people and making sure that everybody's taken care of, leaving a good human behind. That's my biggest responsibility. That's the thing that I think drives me or will keep me at night sometimes.
Yeah. So here's a weird twist. Bruno, hearing what they were just talking about, the sleepless nights and the new levels of mental stress, the need to put somebody quality out in the world. Now, obvious when you talk about kids, but did you notice a similar thing when you started taking on clients?
I felt more responsible. I mean, they're kind of obviously. I mean, you feel responsible. I mean, I think like, especially like obviously, you feel responsible just by the fact they give you your password stuff to them, like software that they have. That's already number one priority, right?
Yeah.
To not legitimately blow it, and somebody ends up like like whatever, and then oh my god, that's kind of the bare minimum, right? That's just, but you end up feeling more responsible because like you suddenly are in charge of something that obviously you have a conscious, and that that person is trusting you. I had clients before. In fact, my first ever client, it was actually like it was a non-profit organization, right? My first ever client was a non-profit organization, and the guy was like, listen man, like I've never done this before, like I have no idea what's happening, and I'm like oh man. I'm like, "Talks, like,"
Yep.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I'm like, so it's like not only it's my first ever client, but I'm like, listen, man, like, and I told him very honestly, like, I didn't told him like you were my first ever client. I didn't even told him that because I wanted him to feel safe, right?
Yes.
And I think that's when like that expert vibe needs to come in, and you don't even say I think, you say I believe, right?
Yeah.
Because like you need to be even non-biased about it, right? And like yeah, I mean, it's just like you suddenly are in charge of like, because remember, like, right, it's their baby. It's their thing, right? And you're like their babysitter, right? On one department, right?
Yeah.
For one thing. So if you blow it, right, basically you suck at babysitting. So so
I love that analogy. Yeah.
right, so yeah, it's just like you need to be careful with the stuff you do, right? And you always have to like make sure they're okay with it, and like make sure they're comfortable with it, and really like try and respect their time as much as they try and respect yours, so there's a natural and a natural healthy co uh, existence within that professional stuff when it comes to obviously work kind of clients.
I mean, but that's it, right? Like that's the thing. Whether it is when you take on new responsibilities, it comes with a new level of accountability that you also have to take. Whether it is the responsibility for an actual physical life, like a kid, or the baby of an idea that somebody is sharing with you and trusting you to help grow and understand. It requires that you take a look at your own belief systems, at your own biases, at your needs for control, and where can you actually have control. And we can spiral out of control very quickly in that space. Yeah. Yeah. Say something. Say more.
I mean, the thing is that I always say this to myself, but I know it's wrong. Please let me say that it's wrong from the beginning. But I always say that I thrive on chaos. Don't ask me how, but whenever my back is against the wall,
Boom, boom, boom.
and everything is burning, somehow everything works wonderful.
Perfect. Yeah.
And and although I don't know how that works for me or why that works for me, it's so easy to get to that position. But most people are not lucky enough, or because I really don't know how that works for me, but it works out.
Would you
I'm
like to know?
curious. Please, I would love to, because it's been
Yes. Oh my God.
being saving for the
With
longest.
emotional intelligence. Yeah. And I would even challenge your belief that that's not a right belief. I would say that thriving through chaos is naturally human, right? I mean, chaos is what we live in. You literally are a different person when you go to bed versus when you wake up, like physically. So chaos is just part and parcel of the whole human gig. You're welcome. But for your brain, so when you are in that space, those negative experiences, they limit your brain. Your brain actually kind of closes down so that it can focus. It gets hyper vigilant on what is going on, and it makes rapid fire decisions.
Yeah.
It's designed for that. Now, if you stay in that place, it can be very limiting, and you can actually close off and limit the way that your brain functions. You need those positive dopamine hits to be able to expand back out. But if you thrive in that chaos and you start to see things open up because you know you can get to the other side, that is fantastic. It's literally the way your brain is designed, and you're leveraging your biomechanisms as a process for success in your life. Good job, you.
Hey, no,
You
now
know
that's
what?
the
For
wrong way.
me, the expression that pressure makes diamonds, and that's true.
Yes.
Yes, but I wanted to finish with one thing. That's the part that I wanted to do. I really wanted to find out why and how that works for me. But also, I've seen other people been through the same chaos that usually I can navigate very easily, and they crumble.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, people, figure out what works for you. Do not copy anybody else,
Yeah.
because what may work for Bruno may never work for me. What works for Kara definitely is something that I gotta test out and see what happens, because here it is. We have fantastic mentors, fantastic people to guide us. And if you don't have those role models, go ahead and find a coach, a business coach, a life coach that could help you shape that proper person for you to set your eyes on. And then start by trial and error, figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. Because
Oh, that is a beautiful segue.
yeah.
That's exactly it. I mean, and Irina can back me up on this. That is coaching. We are hyper attached to the process of life, but not the specific process of any one thing. That way we can help you figure out what your exact process is. Yeah.
Correct.
So that's where my process came from, is exactly that. How can we take this experience we all have that's exactly the same and completely different, and put it into a process that is consistent, understandable, and applicable for everyone, exactly the same but completely different? And I figured it out. It took me a minute. It took a solid decade of trial and error and back and forth, and thank goodness I had amazing companies
You
supporting
repeat
me
that.
with that.
You repeat that. It took you how long?
Over a decade.
Yes, and I say that because, believe it or not, a lot of people think that, and we have seen, I'm pretty sure all of us and all entrepreneurs have seen this meme where you have the iceberg and you see the little tip, and then under is, and then they tell you on the top is like, that's real success. But people, the meme represents something,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
isn't until you have lived it
Yeah.
that you understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd
Definitely.
share the process with you. Let's see if this aligns with your life and your experience. Okay. So clarify. A common sensation is chasing your tail. I think we kind of just started talking about this, right? Like it is really easy to spiral out of control when things go sideways because you almost get caught in this frame of mind. And then all you can see is, okay, but what next? Okay, what next? So you really feel like you're just, what next? What next? Round and round and round and round, right? And that's what we see from our perspective. But actually, you're in a cycle that is growing up. Just like when you were a kid to when you became a child to when you became an adult, when you started in operations, worked your way into management, got into leadership, it's all the same. Whether it's the way things your brain works, comes in through your brainstem, goes through your amygdala, makes it to your frontal cortex. Same cycle over and over again, but leveled up. So development propels you up those levels. That's the metaphorical mountain, right? You delve into that experience and you can simplify what you can control, what you can't control, what's the actual challenge, and how can you let go of the uncontrollables to focus on the challenge. That's what clarity is. And then assessing. So assessment is first our emotions, right? We are meat suits full of hormone soup. That is why I say that them so much, because that's the very first step. 58% of the choices that we make are unintentional and because of our hormone soup. Our brain comes up with an emotion and it decides that's the path we're going down,
Can I
whether
give
we
you a
want it
little?
to or not.
Can I give you a little fact?
Yeah.
Other than that, um, I don't know if any of you do stocks, like you
Mhm.
trade your own stocks.
I
Hey,
used to.
Charles Schwab. Shameless plug.
There we go. I love doubling in options. That's my, whenever I get free time and I can track a stock, I'll do options with it.
Gambling for adults.
And I, not gambling if you know your deltas. But anyways, if you know your Greeks, you're good. But that's beyond the point. That's not in today's class. But the thing is that people, when they're working with the paper money, uh, for people that don't know, paper money is before you're working with your own real money. You can work in a fake account that they give you either 10 grand or 5 grand. You can
Yeah.
select how much fake money you get, but you're actually tracking the stock on real time.
Yeah.
So the system would actually let you play with fake ifs or with fake money, but with real ifs live. People
I
that
love
tend, yeah, and people that tend to do really good on those, on the paper money, when they get to real life using their own money, they're really
Yeah.
bad. And guess why?
Yep.
Because of the hormone soups. They got feelings attached to what happened. But because they knew that it was paper money and that nothing was going to hit their bank account, win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when they put the real money in it,
Yeah.
Arena, you're dying. Share with the class. Yes.
Just funny how Johnny was saying, meat soups. But exactly, it's all about emotions, right? So when we know, like I always say, like it's all in our perception. Any kind of situation is plastic until we put the emotions to that. And it's our choice what kind of emotions we want to color that particular situation in, right? Because like I always teach my clients, like, what is the point to worry about the situation? Like, can you really change the situation? No. Then why would you worry? Is the only bad thing is gonna happen into you because you stress yourself out, but situation is still there. It's not changing. So why don't you change the attitude? Because the more relaxed you are, the better outcome you're gonna have. And you know what my mantra is? Everything is happening for your highest good. And I
That's a good one.
swear it works like a glove. Each time, any situation that happens in life, if you say to yourself, this is happening for my highest good, and exactly that's how the situation is going to unfold for you.
My dad has said my entire life, it always works out in the end. If it is not working out right now, you haven't reached the end.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Bruno, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's like, obviously, overthinking is a real problem, but it's something that we do it to ourselves. I think what really, because like I think like for me, there's acknowledgement, there's panic, and then there's like I'm completely destroyed. Because like it's like people acknowledge it. Like for example, so like I used to smoke weed before, right? Back in the day, like back in my university days, I used to smoke weed, and when I used to have bad trips, they would happen not because like I was feeling in any sort of way, no, because I would panic, and then I'd panic, it would intensify, right? Only when you panic is when you start to really feel that thing, because for your body, panic means I gave up in trying to control myself. When you panic, you're basically telling your body that you legitimately gave up on it, right? So now it's time to get on survival mode and like do it for yourself, right? So but once I kind of like started learning how to control my emotions, um when I used to overthink, when I used to whatever, right? When I started developing my techniques to kind of, I saw like what I started to become more aware of, like, wait a second, like this ain't reality. This is illusion, right? This is this is my world, and obviously it's a clear dimension. It's a dimension where nobody wins unless I completely eliminate that and I start touching things so I can actually feel myself in the real world, right? So I go from my thoughts to my sensations. So like it's like one of those things where um overthinking, suffering from anticipation, any sort of like something that seems forced, um it's never good. And like it's a great way to not be human in those moments, and to not feel a thing. If there's a time where we shouldn't, like, we are humans, but like too much of one thing is too much. So if you're too human in moments where you shouldn't be that human, let's say, you're gonna lose, because there's moments where you shouldn't feel no emotion at all, and there's moments to be very human. There's moments to be warm, there's moments to be cold, right? And I think like sometimes not that it's not that we have to be like judgment or critics of ourselves in a bad way. Just we just have to be cold enough to not let our victim mentality come out, because victim mentality makes you overthink, right? So don't be a victim, right? What's his name? His name is Eric something. Eric something is a motivational speaker. He goes like, go from victim to victor, right? And I think like that's really awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So accountability was where I was going to go next, and that's a fantastic segue. So it's just what we talked about, right? So the CARA method says, where am I? Where do I want to go? What do I need to develop to get there? So I don't feel like I'm chasing my tail, but I'm leveling up. Clarity. Easy. Awareness then is that next, right? So first we assess, how am I feeling? What am I aware of as my triggers, and how can I manage my triggers? Goes back to that stock thing. Like, it's going to impact the way you do things, but if you're not aware of it, it's going to take you down, and then it's going to spiral you into overthinking. But again, we know that it's going to pass. We know that. So what do we need to focus on? And that goes into ownership. Okay, there are things you cannot control. There are things that you can. Of the things that you can, what are you actually going to do? And then you start doing it, and you do that consistently. You have that is what a coach supports you in, is doing it again and again and again. So that just becomes the natural way that your brain processes. It already is, except bringing awareness to it, like the stock thing. Suddenly, if you become aware that you did so great when it was fake money and you're not doing so great when it's real money, but you suddenly become aware because of the emotions that it's linked to your money, you can choose to impact that thanks to awareness and choose to get better. Same concept. And then ultimately that leads to leadership epigenetics, right? Is once you start becoming somebody who recognizes that life is going to happen and it's going to cause me to feel a kind of way about that. And life is going to happen to other people and it's going to cause them to feel a kind of way about it. And I don't actually have control over how they feel, but I do have control over here. So what can I control? How do I want to control it? And how am I going to track that? Well, then you achieve leadership epigenetics. This becomes a pathway in your brain that is as easy as growing up. It just becomes who you are. And we get to achieve the practical benefits of having a strong foundation so that when life's all over us, because I'm fairly certain like that's life's job. My job is to be an executive coach. Johnny's job is to teach dance and do SEO. Bruno's job is to be a coach and do copy. Irina's job is to help you manifest and get your life in order. And life's job is to go, I love all the things you're doing and I'm a life all over it. Yeah. So when that happens, having this method, this clarify, assess, realign, achieve, allows you to go, okay, hold up. What can I do? What will I do? And then did I do it? And if I didn't, why? And what will I actually do next time? It's so simple. I know it sounds so ridiculously simple because it really, really is. Because everything is exactly the same.
The thing is that simple does not mean easy. People relate
Ayo.
simple with easy. And that has become my latest pet peeve because people come up to me, hey John, I need a website, but I need something simple. And I say simple like $300 or simple like $10,000.
Yeah.
And they go like, wait a minute, $10,000 not simple. No, it's simple. It's
That's the
just
simplest.
is the cost of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're going to pay more because simple is actually really hard. 100%. So you want a real
Yes.
simple, real clear, real clean website? Cool. That's $10,000 because we got to put it all together. We got to take stuff out. We got to look at it again. We got to take more stuff out. We got to look at it again. We got to take more. And then we're going to get to simple. Oh no, you just want an easy one? Okay, $300. Here's a hot mess. Have at it. Bye.
Absolutely. Kara, you just actually got what I've been thinking for the longest out of my head and put it in words. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a really common challenge for people who create websites. Like 100%. We think simple. That means easy, right? When has that ever been true in your life? Yeah. Yes. So I do mine in clarity sessions. That's what I figured out. If you want to go through this process, I do them in 15 minutes. People who've worked with me for an entire quarter are at the point where they can do 3 to 5 different challenges in 15 minutes. But I can guarantee it used to be that I still have the 3 times ROI, but it used to be that I said, look, if it takes longer than 20 minutes, I'll gift you 45 minutes. I will still do that. But I've done 7,000 clarity sessions over that, and no one's needed an extra 45 minutes because you do know.
I can attest to that one.
And you did it so fast. You do know. You're 100% right. You thrive in that chaos. And when you're forced to make a decision, you're like, this is it. And you're good at it. Okay, we'll go to a commercial and then we'll come back and wrap up.
There we go.
Are you ready to meet the most important person in your life? Are you ready to have the date with yourself? How about learning what you're all about and what are your heart desires? For that, I invite you for my interactive workshop, Meet and Greet Your True Self, where you tap into your potential and understand what exactly you would like to create in your life.
Do you want to learn how to dance salsa and bachata? Well, now's your chance. We have 2 locations in Lake Worth and Commercial Boulevard in Florida. The first class is complimentary. All you have to do is sign up now. Welcome back.
Okay, so before I do my little pitch spiel at the end, so you know what I offer and I can offer it to you, looking at the CARA method for you guys, seeing how this is, since we spoke a lot about how coaches do not care about process, they care about results. Do you see why I still put it within this process? And how would you see that in your world?
In my marketing world or my business world, you help me to, because I manage many hats. I work with you guys on the Learn. I have Empower Entrepreneurial Network. I have Soul Entertainment Global. I have Highlight Reviews, and I can keep naming companies.
So many.
And I'm managing all of them. And thanks to what you have done with me, and now that I have a clear explanation, you help us navigate through our day-to-day lives in a real path, meaning that I can say, okay, I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no matter what happens. So you help us get organized and get direct to the point instead of fidgeting around the solution.
Chasing our tails. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk. We got some clarity. We got some clarity with Bruno when we were asking Yara about our target audience and talking more about the talk show and the Facebook group. So it was great timing. We did get the answers. Thank you so much.
I have to say that Kara is a magnificent coach. She's amazing. She's very straight to the point, and one thing that you don't find in many coaches is like how sure she is of herself. When you talk in podcast, especially when you helped us, like I was like, yeah, I don't like, I never saw like a bit of like doubt in what you say, because like, let's be honest, nobody has all the answers, right? I mean, yeah, obviously we all help each other and stuff. I mean, Tony Robbins doesn't have all the answers. I mean, right? But you have the right ones.
I would correct, we all have the answers, but they are digged inside of us. And it takes another person, somebody professional, to ask the right question in order to pull these answers out.
Absolutely. No,
yeah, because you guys were amazing. You knew all the things for the podcast, but I asked some questions like, and we could.
Yep. It was like catching the fish. Catching the fish one after another.
Yes. Because the process isn't something you have to attach to. It's something you can commit to going through regularly with yourself. And that's why I gave it all the way here. You can absolutely do this anytime you want on your own. Set a timer. I'll even give you the steps. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Ask the first question. What is one thing I need help with right now? Why is now important? What happens if everything goes perfect? For some folks, maybe it's what happens if things go wrong. Sometimes we have to unpack that first. And then why hasn't that happened yet? Those 4 simple questions take you straight through the CARA method and allow you to ask yourself what you need. Now, you absolutely can go do this on your own. This is why I give it to you. It's totally capable of it. But it's better with a buddy. Because then when you are forced to say something out loud to somebody else, it hits different. It just does.
Yep.
It's always better with the body.
Yes.
This is why I say it so much. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Now I'm giving away all my branding secrets. You guys all know why I say all of these things over and over. The meat suit, the hormone soup, the better with a buddy. Let's start with clarity.
So we are just talking with Cara words.
I would love for you to start a mini book, and I think you should sell it. Talking with Cara phrases. And you have the phrase. And what do you mean by it? I love
Right.
it.
Like a translation guide. I can absolutely do that. Yes.
I think it'll be funny and actually so refreshing for people, because everything you say has a meaning, like a true meaning. It's not just funny. So, and I think that anything with fun, or any education with fun, sinks in quicker.
Yeah.
Your own dictionary.
I believe that. Yeah, I need that. No, I will do. I'm writing that down because that's actually a great idea. And yes, I can.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
we are all masterminded here.
I love you guys
That's it.
so much. So that's it. That is what coaching is. That is what the CARA method is. You may go do it on your own, but we all know it's better with a buddy. So you can contact me and we can do one-to-one. I can do it all the way from the 15-minute clarity sessions up to an entire year. Why am I so confident in everything that I do and am able to present so very much exactly as I am? Because I have failed so much. Why are you good at what you do? So much failure. So much failure. And I can also help you become a failure expert. Let's lean into that. Yep. I can also be, I now do this for corporations. I have been hired by several corporations to become their internal coach. And I actually do the clarity sessions with their team and then work with the executives so that we can create that alignment all the way through the company and change that culture. And then I can also teach it. So if you want your team to become coaching leaders, you want them to be able to get rid of all of the hour-long one-on-ones, because none of us need more time on Zoom in our office, and instead be able to spend 15 minutes and actually connect, actually build trust, and create a habit of accountability within your team so that your leaders are developing leaders. I can teach you how to do it. Let me know. That's my pitch.
There we go. But I actually have to disagree with the Zoom part with you for a little bit, because all of you are so far. The only way that I get to see you is through Zoom. So on that one, that's the only part that I will disagree with you. Besides that, I agree with you with the other part, with people in
business Sim. Yeah. I would hang out with you guys in Zoom just for funsies. Yeah. But in business, like I need another hour-long development call with my boss. No, sure never did.
All right. So anybody else has any events, anything coming up this week or next week?
You know what comes for me? Actually, I just yesterday was downloading the idea.
Okay.
You know what? It's interesting how in life, when something bothers us in health-wise, right? We always go to the specialist. Like if we have the toothache, we are not gonna go and see, the general doctor, right? So we all are so educated knowing that each specialist helps us with something. But when it comes to life, people don't even know that this help is available. And you have the coaches for any kind of thing. You have coaches who work with the parents. You have coaches who work with the divorced people. You have the coaches who help you to find the love. You have the coaches who allow you to propel in your career. You have the coaches who could actually manifest any dream with you together. So basically just decide what is there for you. Just, there is like the whole, palette of wishes. It's just pick and choose which one you want. And there is help available for any kind of desire that you have. Just be mindful of that. Because like I said, stop thinking just from the common hour thinking. Start thinking more creative, because there is a lot of things and it's all about our awareness.
I'm going to say that exact same thing in another way. Somebody else has already failed forward on the thing you're terrified to try. Reach out. They're there to catch you.
Yep, that is true.
Awesome.
All right. So, no other any events this week, next week? Anything that you need to let people know? No.
On the
Pretty cool.
28th, I have my workshop, but it's on 28th, so I still will be announcing.
Well,
there you go.
people sign up. All right. So,
Yes.
without further ado, everybody, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.